The meeting of the Public Safety Committee is now called to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Bosley.
Present.
Alderman French.
Present.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderman Cone.
Present.
Alderman Carter.
Present.
Alderman Coulter.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderwoman Green.
Present.
Chairman Kennedy.
Here.
9 present. You have a quorum.
We will first take up Board Bill number 76, sponsored by Alderwoman Davis. I'm taking up the bill on her behalf.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Board Bill 76 would designate 3130 Hickory as a landmark, making historic the birthplace of Maya Angelou. This has passed the various cities' commissions to approve this designation and requires a board bill to do so. This location is within the boundaries of the 19th Ward, which is, Alderwoman Davis. Many of us are aware of the many contributions and achievements of Maya Angelou, who grew up here in the city of St. Louis, attended school here, and then later became a renowned poet who also did the inaugural address or inaugural poetry for Obama when he first became president. Maya Angelou still has a number of friends here in the city of St. Louis. I was mentioning to the vice chair that John Wyndham with the Board of Education, his sister Alice Wyndham is a good friend of Maya Angelou. And she and Maya Angelou and Stokely Carmichael, later Kwame Ture, were all living in Ghana when Ghana became the first independent country out of colonialism. And all of them are also mentioned in the autobiography of Malcolm X. So this would designate that location of 3130 Hickory as a landmark honoring the birthplace of Maya Angelou. The property owners are also in support of doing this designation.
All right.
So she does ask for your favorable support.
Any questions from members of the committee? Go ahead.
I just would like to have my name added as my co-sponsor.
You could add me on there also.
And me as well.
Yeah, put all of our names up.
Put us all on there. Okay, let's do it all. Put it in the back.
I do a question though as
Sure.
well. With the designation of a local landmark, it's a local designation.
Yes.
So I know that the city maintains a website through cultural resources that lists the various local historic, properties in the city. Are there any other benefits aside from kind of defining what can be done on that property? Do we have any type of preservation funds that are available?
No, the city really doesn't. That's primarily it, unless the person applies for other types of designation.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, will there be any designation on, identification on the building to let people know a little bit of history, et cetera?
From my understanding that they have intents to do so, a plaque with information about her as well. And then it'll be listed in the city's website.
Okay, wonderful.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we pass Board Bill 76 out with the do pass recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Alderman Bosley.
Aye.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Aye.
Alderman Cone.
Aye.
Alderman Carter.
Aye.
Alderman Coulter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Green.
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy.
Aye.
9 aye votes, do pass.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Easy come, easy go.
A neat little house.
Our next item on the agenda is a discussion on the nominees for the Civilian Oversight Board. though it's not my intent to call for a vote today, but for us to discuss our impressions and our thoughts about the candidates and any other thing that we may have in relationship to that. Do we want to call any others back in to talk to them, or are we pretty satisfied? Just to have a general discussion on the Civilian Oversight Board nominees. So we're open to any thoughts on that at this point. Alderman Bosley?
Who are the persons that are recommended for it? I don't remember or recall getting a list of those people.
Yes, sir. We did send out everyone's resumes and their applications. The committee, and we had them at each committee meeting. There are 7 individuals.
Is it possible to get a?
Yes, sir. I'll get all that back to you
No,
here in a
because
moment.
I don't recall it. Maybe I'm getting old.
You have your. We'll get it to you here before the end. I have mine. Any other thoughts or comments in relationship to the? I said, any other thoughts in relationship to the nominees? You have something? When you stand up, you have something.
Here.
Let them go on up.
Even when I stand up, it still looks like I'm sitting down.
Stand next to you to make you feel tall.
So it seemed like a few people had concerns with one nominee, from what I see through email and from I guess from testimony, and that's Mrs. Deborah Ahmed.
Right.
And so I just want us to, I guess, look deeper and possibly bring her back in to talk about the financial, I guess, situation between her and the city. I'm sorry, with Better Family Life and the city before we, take a vote, because a lot of people had concerns about that. And basically, if she is, if the city is one of their biggest donors, just in terms of employing her husband and son, that we should review and look into that situation a little bit more deeper. So I don't know what everyone else feels, but I know that I did get a few calls, and that the testimony from I believe the last person to speak before John Chasnoff, I forget her name, she was very accurate and detailed when she spoke about financial obligations and financial detail with Better Family Life and the city, and that may be some type of conflict. So I don't want us to do anything where we look a certain way by putting a person on and it's a known conflict. So I think that we should call her back in, or we should deeper discuss that.
Alderman Vaccaro?
I would just say, though, if we call her back in, she's going to tell us the same thing, that she could be open, fair, and honest, and recuse herself. I think that if the board feels that she's not the right person, I think we should just either vote to put her in or not.
Right.
Because, I mean, when everybody came in, I felt that everybody told us what they wanted us to hear, so I didn't really have a problem with anybody. I thought that everything would just kind of work itself out, and they had the possibility amongst themselves to eliminate a person. But if the committee feels that strong, one way or the other, I'd almost rather just vote on that, because it's a process of sending someone else in to start that spot. But she's not going to tell us anything different than she already told us. I don't believe that she would. That's just my comment. I'm good with whatever we decide. That's just my comment.
Alderwoman Green?
I'm with Chris in that I think we should bring her back in. My concern is, if there are concerns raised about somebody, really there has to be public confidence in this board. And I think that there was some information that was brought to our attention that we didn't know of in detail previously, and so I think we owe it to the public to to vet that more in a public forum. So I would be for bringing her back in and asking her more questions pertaining directly to the potential financial conflict of interest.
Alderman Cone?
I just, I also agree with the Alderwoman from the 15th and the Alderman from the 27th. I do specifically remember one of the questions that was asked of her was whether or not the funds that they receive from the city is something that she, I believe, has a direct benefit from in terms of her salary, and she replied that she did not. I know that Better Family Life is a fairly large organization, and so the money that the city sends may be diverted to a specific program that's underneath their purview. But I do believe that because of the concerns that were, brought to us by the community, that we do have a responsibility to at least have those answered in a public forum directly and more specifically than possibly the questions that we had asked before.
Any other thoughts? Alderman Vaccaro?
I mean, I just want to go, like I said, I'm fine with whatever, but I do know that she had said that her husband and son both worked for, and that her son had had a run-in with the police, and that, I thought she was pretty open about everything. I guess my thing again is when we bring her back, we're going to ask her the same questions she's answered. I mean, same way we had some concern because it was brought up, but, I had thought she had addressed that when she was here. And I don't know her. I mean, I'm just saying it seemed to me that she seemed to have issues on both sides that might make her actually pretty fair and balanced. But again, I'm good with whatever. I just want to explain why I felt that way.
If you don't. Alderman French?
So, I think it would be even fair for her to allow her an opportunity to come back and respond to some of the charges that were made against her. The citizen that came to speak, she gave us a prepared written statement, and I'm not sure everything in there was factually correct, but I do think the overall spirit is relevant, which is the appearance of a conflict. So before we use that information to make a decision, we should probably allow her an opportunity to come and respond.
Any other thoughts or comments on any of the nominees so far?
Any of the other ones?
Any of the other nominees as well? Alderman French?
So the other one who I had some issues with was Mr. Ortega, and probably the same concerns that I had with Ms. Ahmed was just that on this very first board especially, I think it's important that the members not even have an appearance of a conflict. I think that's important for this first board especially. And under some of his answers, some questions related to his relationship with members of the police union, I think might raise some doubt about whether he could be truly impartial. And so I have some concerns about that one.
Alderman Green?
I agree with that as well. I think the two people that we heard, from kind of multiple sources throughout the night of having some questions about were Ms. Ahmed and Mr. Ortega. And so I think, bringing both of them back in to, further ask questions to clarify some of the conflicts that could exist in a more public way, I think is giving the public what they need to hear. So I would be in favor of bringing both of them back for questions.
So there would be new additional questioning that you would have for them. Did you have something? Okay, all right. Any other comments about the nominees?
So let me So I'm just asking you, so when we vote, are we voting them as a group or is it individually?
Individually, I would call.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I can contact both of them and make arrangements. We do have, well, first let me ask, are there any other comments about the nominees from members of the committee? We are scheduling a meeting for next week. Tuesday, we have, which you start, right, from the Ferguson Commission to come before us and talk about the recommendations that came from the Ferguson Committee. So we may take the first part of that meeting to either deal with the nominees or to have them here at that time. I'll let you know once I contact each one. We have until November 3rd to get it finally passed or finally confirmed. So the idea would be to either get them in here next week or to make our final, and to make our final vote out of the committee next week. Alderman Vaccaro?
Just that Ameren's got something Tuesday that I have to go to, or I'm going to.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to be around Tuesday. I would ask if we're going to vote, I'd prefer it be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I won't be, I cannot be here that day.
Okay.
I also have a conflict on Tuesday
On
morning.
Tuesday. Sounds like a rebellion. Then I guess we'll look at another day. Okay, I'll get with us and make arrangements on the date, so, because we need us all here. Okay? All right, well, we know the direction to go. Is there any other items for discussion on this matter? If not, we have no other agenda items. Okay, if that, our meeting's adjourned.